All right, let's jump right into this explainer and actually tackle a 2,400-year-old philosophical staircase. We're diving into one of the most famous frameworks for understanding human desire ever created. I'm talking about Plato's Ladder of Love. Seriously, if you've ever found yourself wondering why we fall in love, how our desires kind of evolve as we grow up, or what on earth we're actually searching for when we look for a partner, well, you're in the exact right place. First things first, we've got to completely shatter this modern misconception that platonic just means you're friends. You know the drill. Today, if someone says a relationship is strictly platonic, they usually mean it's totally devoid of romance. It's like a permanent residency in the friend zone, right? But here's the thing. We have to throw that modern definition completely out the window. Why? Because the actual source material reveals a fiercely passionate journey. In Plato's original philosophy, platonic love is incredibly intense. It's this fiery, burning desire that actually propels us upward toward ultimate enlightenment. So it's absolutely not the absence of passion. It's literally the ultimate channeling of it. So, here's our roadmap for today's climb. We'll start with the myth of platonic love, move to the bottom rungs focusing on physical form, hit the middle rungs of inner beauty, explore higher love through knowledge and ideas, and finally, reach the summit of pure beauty.
Section 1. The Myth of Platonic Love.
To truly grasp this framework, we really have to look at where it came from. Get this, for over 2,400 years, ever since Plato's famous text, The Symposium, was written, this specific concept has been fundamentally, and I mean completely misunderstood by pop culture. Now, the Symposium itself is essentially the story about a dinner party in ancient Athens. A bunch of intellectuals get together, and they take turns giving speeches about Eros, the god of love. And it's right there, through the character of Socrates, that Plato drops this radical new way of thinking about desire. So the absolutely crucial takeaway here is that Plato didn't see love as static. Not at all. He saw it as an active, evolving ascension. He framed it as this ladder of love. Picture it as a metaphorical staircase where human desire evolves sequentially. You don't just fall in love and, stay stuck on step one forever. Actually, if you're doing it right, at least according to Plato, your love acts like an engine. It takes that raw, basic physical attraction and matures it, rung by rung, into an incredibly profound love for the universe's ultimate truths. Let's trace the progression of our climb. It moves from one specific body up to all bodies, then to the soul, moving on to laws and institutions, then knowledge, and finally ending at pure beauty itself. You can really see the whole trajectory moving from the extremely specific and physical all the way to the broad, abstract, and eternal. Section 2. The bottom rungs, physical form. Okay, so the ascent has to start somewhere grounded, right? And Plato completely acknowledges that we are first and foremost physical beings. Think of this bottom rung as that initial overwhelming spark you might feel when you're swiping on a dating app, or maybe locking eyes with someone across a crowded room. At this first rung, your desire is super focused on just one individual's physical form. You're infatuated with their face, their shape, their physical presence. It's incredibly intense, for sure, but it's also quite narrow. But here's the catch. The lover doesn't just stay there. As you mature on this ladder, you start to look around and realize, wait a minute, physical beauty is actually universal. And that realization is what prompts the move to the second rung. You recognize that the curve of a jawline or the grace of a movement isn't somehow magically exclusive to your one crush. Physical beauty is a shared characteristic across all of humanity. And by recognizing this, your love broadens. You learn to appreciate the physical form in everyone, kind of relaxing that intense obsession with just one person and starting to appreciate the beauty of the human body as a general concept. Moving on to Section 3, the middle rungs, inner beauty. Now, this is where the major shift happens. We're transitioning from the physical realm into the spiritual and psychological. You start to realize a tough truth. Bodies age, they change, and eventually they fade. But a beautiful mind, that is enduring. This rung is all about falling in love with someone's character, their intellect, their soul. You begin to find a person's kindness, their quick wit, or their strong moral compass to be vastly more attractive than their physical appearance. It's a real game changer. Plato actually hits the nail on the head in the Symposium, writing, "The beauty of the mind is more honorable than the beauty of the outward form." Basically, a beautiful soul becomes way more magnetic than just a pretty face. Plato argues that when you hit this stage, you'd gladly love and care for someone who has a brilliant, beautiful soul, even if their outward physical form isn't what society calls conventionally attractive.
The inner world has completely, 100%, eclipsed the outer world.
Section 4. Higher love, knowledge and ideas. So as we climb even higher, we actually start leaving the individual person behind. Our desires turn outward, towards society and the abstract world of ideas. Now, I know this rung might sound a little strange at first, but stick with the logic here. If you deeply love good character and beautiful souls, eventually you start asking yourself, well, what creates a beautiful soul? And the answer? A good society. You literally begin to fall in love with the laws, the customs, and the societal institutions that actually foster virtue and create good people. Your passion shifts from loving one good person to loving the justice system, the educational structures, and the cultural norms that allow goodness to thrive in everyone. And from those human institutions, the lover climbs yet again. This time, we're stepping into the realm of pure thought. You transition from loving societal structures to loving the abstract sciences, mathematics, and philosophy. It's like you suddenly see the hidden harmony in the universe. At this point, you're no longer focused on human things at all. Instead, you're cultivating a deep, passionate love for wisdom and knowledge itself. Plato famously describes this stage as turning rather towards the main ocean of the beautiful. I just love that imagery. Your love is no longer confined to a single person or one soul or even one specific human law. No, you are immersed in an entire ocean of wisdom. It's this incredible intellectual ecstasy where the sheer joy of understanding the universe becomes the greatest, most intense desire you can possibly experience.
Section 5. The summit, pure beauty.
Finally, we reach the climax of our climb, the absolute peak of the ladder. At this ultimate summit, we encounter the form of beauty itself. Now, this is something so abstract and so perfect that it almost defies our everyday understanding. It is the very essence of beauty. We aren't talking about a beautiful person or a beautiful painting or a beautiful mathematical equation here. It's the source code. It is beauty with a capital B. It doesn't rely on anything else to be beautiful. It simply purely is.
Plato argued that this right here is the ultimate destination of all human desire. This form of beauty isn't bound by time or physical space. It never fades, it never grows, and it never, ever changes. When you finally perceive this eternal perfection, it hits you. All those lower rungs, the beautiful bodies, the beautiful souls, the beautiful laws, they were merely hinting at this ultimate truth. They were just tiny reflections of this singular, eternal perfection. Reaching this summit is literally the equivalent of true philosophical enlightenment.
All right, let's bring this all back down to earth for a second. Understanding this ancient climb gives us a remarkably powerful new lens to evaluate our modern relationships. It totally reframes our everyday experiences. When you feel that spark of physical attraction, or when you connect deeply with someone's mind, you can recognize it not as the final endpoint, but as a stepping stone. It helps us realize exactly what it is we're truly chasing, a deeper connection to truth, to meaning, and to ultimate beauty. So I want to leave you with this thought. Consider what you dedicate your own passion to, what captures your attention, and what you find truly beautiful in your daily life. If you look closely at your own desires, your relationships, and the things you love the absolute most, which rung of Plato's ladder are you standing on right now? It's a fascinating question worth asking yourself as you continue your own ascent. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep climbing.